So with John Wick, the second chapter, coming out in about a week, I figured I'd review this title first. There's something special about revenge action flicks that have no right to be as good as they actually are. They're set up in the most conventional way possible, contain a fair share of cliches we've come to expect, yet they somehow manage to be original in their own right and end up being highly enjoyable. I think it's the amalgamation of subtle humor, style, and extremely well-executed action sequences that elevate John Wick's status among other high-octane action films. So the film begins with the title character, John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves. He's a professional assassin and he looks to be heavily injured following a violent confrontation. Then it rewinds back to John grieving following the death of his terminally ill wife, Helen. Falling for her is what made him quit his life as a hitman. So to try to get John to love again, Helen bequeaths to him an adorable beagle puppy. Then we've got this asshole. This guy's Yosef Tarasov, played by Alfie Allen, who we all know as Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. He's the spoiled, arrogant, and rather idiotic son of Russian mob boss Viggo Tarasov, who also happens to be John Wick's former boss. Yosef, for some reason, is absolutely furious that John won't sell him his '69 Mustang. So what does he do? That's right, he steals his car and murders his dog. Little does Yosef know that he picked the wrong bull to fuck with. Viggo's completely aware of how skilled and how dangerous John is, so he puts out a $2 million hit on him. So with John out for blood and assassins all over the place looking to collect the bounty for putting him 6 feet under, the stage is set for a perpetually exciting flick. For me, I always found Keanu Reeves' performances to be rather hit and miss. However, this film gave Reeves a golden opportunity to truly show off his chops, which I'm glad to say wasn't squandered. There are two manifestations Keanu Reeves takes on. The first one's a grieving man who's trying hard to emotionally recover. The second one is a gun-slinging badass who you do not want to even look at the wrong way. Reeves' ability to convey despair while also performing with absolute grace in the action sequences signifies that he truly is kind of a force to be reckoned with. But the biggest shout out has to go to the action set pieces. They are out of this world. The absolute grace of Keanu Reeves gives the carnage we see on screen some kind of an innovative feel, which I think is bolstered by the beautifully shot action sequences and we can actually understand what's going on, unlike that piece of shit Resident Evil The Final Chapter. I also thought the smart choice of music gave the action sequences a really needed gritty feel. There was something else that amplified this feel of originality that I got, and that is the color palette. Particularly inside this posh, cool-ass, stylish hotel where all these mobsters and elite criminals and assassins hang out at. In addition to the heavy style factor, I feel it kind of transported me into some kind of other world that isn't exactly too far out. I can't exactly put my finger on this strangely positive feeling that I got out of it, to be quite honest with you. I think this movie was speaking directly to us when the Russian language was spoken. Certain translated words were highlighted, which kind of gave the film a hint of humor. This kind of subtle humor can be found in a bit of the dialogue scattered throughout the film. In my opinion, I think the movie in that area was subtly trying to tell us that it knows what the audiences like to see in such a film and that it isn't going to try to overstep its bounds and be something it isn't. I thought the film did a pretty good job in making us care about the main character. However, I think a lot more could have been done with John's relationship with Heather, seeing as how it's completely glossed over. Like I said, falling for her is what made him quit his job as an assassin, and his despair over losing her was actually quite obvious. With the exception of John's sadness and the short-lived relationship with his puppy, I don't think there was anything else in the film that was indicative that John would actually quit his job just like that for a woman, especially seeing as how stone cold and badass he is. Additionally, the supporting characters are nothing really to write home about. I mean, the main villain is a typical Russian mobster we've seen in so many other action films. I was also a little disappointed with how the script treated Willem Dafoe's character. His role in the film was really important, but unfortunately it was very brief. What a shame. But with that being said, John Wick is a thrill ride from start to finish. Great performances across the board, topped with a good sense of style and a true knowledge of what the audience is looking for in an action film, make John Wick worthy of a recommendation. It doesn't break any new ground at all, but there are high chances that you're gonna have a really good time. So I'm gonna give John Wick a solid 8. So these are my thoughts on John Wick. What did you think of the film? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like what I do, give me a like, hit that big subscribe button, stay tuned, and I will see you on the next one.